to everyone else and all women, I would like to say that you have to be financially independent. You have to have financial freedom, because only then you have choices. Then you have real choices. Otherwise, you're stuck in a bad situation because you can't do something else. Then it's a mess, and you're not living your life to the fullest or the way that you would like to. So you have to be financially independent, no matter how good your family, your husband, whatever is. You can't be living off your parents' money. You can't be living off your husband's money. You have to have your own money.
Thank you, Konkona, for entertaining us firstly. It's lovely to watch a Hindi language medical series. I'm still a fan of Grey's Anatomy. Do not judge me. I think I'm the,
I love House. I love House.
Oh, House is so good. Yeah, House is another, what do I say? I unwind with it. I almost feel like everything you can say is lupus. Actually, that's the only thing. Yeah, I'm like, do I have lupus? That's the only thing. How about you? Are you also a sucker for medical dramas? And are you happy that something like Mumbai Diaries is in our watch list now?
I have to say, it's not like I love all medical dramas or I've been following all the medical dramas. I love House, but I think it's mainly for Hugh Laurie because I think he's so attractive. But I feel like our show, Mumbai Diaries, firstly, there are hardly any medical dramas. And Mumbai Diaries is really special because it's I hate this word special, but I think what is unique about Mumbai Diaries is that it's an emotional medical thriller. Because invariably, it's like some crisis has happened and in 24 hours, we have to sort it, So that always leads to a very tense kind of a watch, which is great fun, of course, to binge.
Of course. And it's a survival thriller, like you said. The first season, especially, I was, I sat up all night to watch it. I think that's also a good sign for a TV series. I was so happy that there were so many episodes, honestly. 8 episodes are not enough. I was like, why? I had withdrawal symptoms after. So
some people have said they preferred season 2. So I'm absolutely thrilled.
Okay, no. Are you reading the reviews? What are like, your Chitra Das? Are you happy because you had more screen time this year, this season? So perhaps were you happy?
I am very happy. I loved the first season as well. That the climax with the terrorists, the way Ahan saves Chitra, her singing, and and we just got glimpses into her past.
That's true.
Season now we're just building layers because all of us are returning to our characters. See, I've also never done a sequel before, but for the first time, one is returning to a character. So you're not building from scratch. You have to establish this is the character. So one is building layers to it, which is a very nice. It's, you could really get into the backstory. In the first season, we've only seen that she has some panic attacks. She has these bouts of anxiety sometimes.
Yes,
but we don't really get into it, and we don't know why. In this season, I just love the fact, firstly, that they've taken up this issue of domestic violence.
True.
Hats off to Nikhil and MA for doing that. Because I feel that this is a very prevalent thing. Firstly, domestic violence itself is very prevalent and it's across sectors of society. And even if it's not physical violence, very often there's emotional abuse or financial manipulation. This is a very common thing.
Yes.
So I'm glad that they've taken it up. And I just always, I always say that the most important thing is for women to be financially independent. Because they can have choices in life.
True. It's always about economics at the end of the day, right? Even I think if you're financially independent, you can walk out of a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
It is abusive. It all boils down to that.
I'm always surprised at the number of intelligent, capable, empowered women who are in toxic relationships. There are many. I have seen with my friends also, and it's something which, it's okay. I don't know why it's so common. It's unfortunate, but I just wanted to say that women should always have the option, even if they don't have family support. If you have your own financial freedom, then you can start your life afresh even.
Right. Was it traumatic for you to play this role, though? Because did you internalize the stress? Because I remember, was it Nicole Kidman who said after, what was that? Small Little Lies?
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies. Yeah, that's it. Big Little Lies. She said she used to smash plates because she played, again, a domestic abuse victim, but theirs was so complex as well. Did you have such a process? Did you go back home and what did you smash?
I didn't thankfully have to smash anything. I think that now in all these, I've been acting for 2 decades plus. So one has done a lot of roles which have a certain emotional depth, or an intensity of emotion that one has to portray. So I don't think that it's not like that for me. When I come home also, I'm carrying that trauma. It's not
Okay.
happened to me, luckily, thank God. I hope it doesn't.
That's good.
But of course, in that time, in that moment, one is believing it.
Right.
And that is, of course, the work that you have to put in with your prep, with the way you prep for the scene, etc. But it's not like it stays with me. Maybe for a few moments after the scene is over, but it's not like it's. See, some traces of characters can remain subconsciously. Some experiences that you've had, some layers may remain, but those are largely subconscious things, I think.
Okay. But you kind of, how to demarcate. Once you're offset, like that's a different life. I'm back to my son, etc. You have that system in
Yeah,
place.
I do. And I also would say that it's easy to do that only because a film set is it's such an artificial environment. It is a chaotic environment, a film set, because there are minimum 150 people.
Mm.
And the reality you're creating is only in your head and maybe with your co-actor, because सामने ही तो camera है, इतने सारे crew है. So actually the difficulty is to be genuine. So I actually love it when, some of my own self or my own emotions leak into the characters. Then I feel like it's a genuine moment.
Right.
Was
Was there
it
any...
performing?
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Otherwise, one is, performing.
Yeah. It's very performative. You almost see it. You can't fake it as actors, somebody was telling me. People sense it. In your case, also with this character, were you also keenly aware that, especially the scene where you're very vulnerable with your boss saying that I've isolated myself from my parents, I've cut off from the rest of the world. That is a very powerful scene where you just said, living this kind of estray, like a life that is so, it's so lonely. You haven't been to the movie halls. That is really like sad. But was that a touch, one of the scenes where you thought, perhaps a bit of you leaked into that scene?
See, it's a very beautifully written scene also. It's subtly and beautifully written with a lot of nuance, because actually that character Subramaniam already knows, he's the one who kind of says, we need you in the hospital. You're the backbone of the hospital. For that scene, I was concentrating not so much on I have been beaten, and I was concentrating on panic. When you're panicking, then you're not thinking straight. Okay, should I go? Okay, should I stay? Where's my umbrella? To get into that zone of not thinking straight. I was actually concentrating more on that aspect of it, I think.
Okay.
It's hard to say because these are things which are not, it's not like I planned it out or plotted कि मैं ऐसे करूंगी, मैं ये सोचूंगी, मैं ऐसे बोलूंगी. It's not like I plan it out, It's just kind of sometimes with a certain emotion, like, this panic or not thinking clearly, it informs your body and your breath, So it's like, you're restless, your eyes are not focusing on one thing.
Yes.
Or one thing, you're constantly like this, your breath is shallow, so those kind of things, when I've read, those are actually quite useful to
Right.
get to that zone.
No, in this series, I feel you look eternally trapped, like there's no exit. That's one of the vibes I got. Perhaps, did you want that tension to build? Like, this is one person, and there's so many women like Chitra, like they don't have an exit option, really. Nothing works out for them.
That's true.
And this is their way of living.
See, this I have to credit Nikhil, because he has created that atmosphere, because you can't do it alone as a performer. If your if your background music, for example, is distracting, or is too sweet, or your co-actors are not in it, or the lighting is like so fake, or whatever, the sets are so so it's not something you're doing alone. To create that sense of claustrophobia or that intensity, it's many different elements coming together to help your performance, actually. It's lit, in towards the end, where you have that red light flashing, that adds so much to the sense of drama. Or when the power has gone off in the hotel and you have like candles or torch lights coming and going, all of that adds to the mood, which helps
Right.
your character.
Right. I'm just so happy that we are having flawed characters on screen. Earlier,
Yeah.
I don't think aren't you, Konkana, like, even if you commit a murder, how to get away with murder also works, I'm so happy. I know it sounds morbid, but I'm just saying, finally, it's not about great people. Like, you're not like this. I mean, the character in Wake Up Sid, you were so lovely, but at the end of the day, you were just, I thought, handling a man-child. I mean, seriously, you deserve so much better, your character. I mean, I meant.
Yeah.
So finally, a role where you're like, you know what, I'm flawed. I have my own demons. Is it good to play real characters? Like, not every woman is a nurturer. That we have moved away
and
from
not
that
every
narrative.
woman. I see. The thing is, I don't only want to play very strong women.
Mm.
I don't think like all women are continuously strong. I mean, we go through cycles and everybody's not equally strong. Some may be stronger than others. Some may have no choice, except to be strong. So I don't always like playing very strong woman of substance, go-getter, and it's not like that draws me. Yeah, that is also an interesting character if it's well written. But I love that Chitra's vulnerability. I love that she has no faith in herself. She only has no faith in herself. She always comes through. Whatever happens, she comes in first season, second. Always she does what she's supposed to do. She manages ultimately to achieve what she wants to achieve. But she has zero faith in herself to begin with. I
like that.
relate to it actually. I think many people will relate to it.
Yeah. You're almost.
नहीं होगा मुझसे.
I'm sorry. What's that?
Because we all sometimes feel कि नहीं होगा ना मुझसे.
Yeah. Right. You are like Dr. Cuddy in House without any agency. That's it. No agency. I think she's
the head that chief.
the Lisa.
Yeah.
That lady with zero agency. I feel there's no sense
She's
of
always
agency.
holding house.
But with you, there's no agency. So was that liberating to play a woman who's so vulnerable that you don't even know what you're doing half the time? And like you said, you expect others to validate you're not even a practicing doctor, which is sad. There's so many students who have perhaps fallen off the grade. They don't want to complete it. And you're kind of like that, Liz. There's still hope. You can be a
But
medical.
she's not like that continuously.
Oh.
Even though she is like that to begin with in both the seasons, ultimately, whether she is taking up for that child, whether she is able to face her monsters, whether she is able to charge her ex-husband with whatever charges she brings on him, ultimately she is able to do. I mean, ultimately she's able to do the correct thing, the strong thing. She's able to achieve what needs to be achieved, which is that her journey is a poor thing, a little all over the place, which I feel is very believable actually.
Right. Did you ever question her motives at any point, the character, or did you ask Nikhil why, perhaps she comes across as as a bit of a pushover or anything, or no? Or you were like, this is how it's written and that's my brief, or did he give you a brief?
Because I didn't have that. I actually liked the fact that it's this fine balance of, I love this man, and that thing of, I know him. We used to be so intimate in every way. And to have that emotional vulnerability with him, and yet to know that he's wrong for me. I love that. And I don't think that that is not strength. It's how we view strength also,
how we perceive it, right? So do you think this is the most relatable character as well, or no? I mean, you look at every character as a project. How does it work with you? Is there a method to your madness, Konkana?
The most relatable character that I've played.
Yeah, this one, or no? No, you don't look at characters on those lines, is it?
I have not looked at her like that. I mean, I don't know which is the most, because different things relate to different people. Other people are going through their own journeys. That's where they're relating. No? So that is it's nothing to do with me also. So I try to relate to my characters because sometimes that's hard. Like in my early part of my career, sometimes I'd be like, I don't like her. Why is she behaving so silly? What is she doing? That would happen to me sometimes. And I remember my mom, I'm very lucky to have had my mother, as a mentor almost. And her telling me early in my career that you must be kinder to your characters, Maybe she's not as strong as you are, or not as articulate as you are, have some empathy towards your characters.
Right.
So I'm not looking to how much other people are. I mean, I always want people to connect to my characters. That's the main reward that is so rewarding. But it's very important that I am able to relate to the character as well and find that area of overlap between the character and me,
Right. So have you become more kinder now? Do you look at a role and not judge as much? Because even like I said, I tend to judge most women female written parts. So I'm just asking you. I do, like some of them, like they could have been written with a lot. Who reacts like that, for instance?
That's
Or
true.
why would you put up
That's
with
true.
crap? Like, I mean, it's so evident. She has everything going for her, just walk out. And then she's still trapped in that particular marriage, relationship, or whatever. Or
But then
putting up with a lot of.
sorry.
Yeah. No, you put up with a lot, in general, do you or not? I'm not very sure. So I often judge these on-screen representation of women. Are they really strong, or are they just, the token, whatever, strong female?
But women do make mistakes in life and they learn. And they're allowed to make mistakes. And I find it interesting to depict that on screen. So I have to say that was a very young Konkona who used to judge perhaps the characters like more harshly. Today, I don't think I do. And I like it when I have a character who does make mistakes, who does things, because I find constantly in real life that very capable and empowered women constantly make mistakes and get into toxic relationships. It's very, very common.
That's true. That's true. Last question. Do you have like a message for all the women who perhaps, are survivors of domestic abuse, perhaps to take from it? It's just perhaps embolden them or anything. Did you at any point think maybe this character?
Well, I feel that the most important, firstly, if they have been able to get out of that toxic relationship, then hats off, because it is very, very difficult to get out of a toxic relationship, especially an abusive relationship. So well done if you have. And to everyone else and all women, I would like to say that you have to be financially independent. You have to have financial freedom, because only then you have choices. Then you have real choices. Otherwise, you're stuck in a bad situation because you can't do something else. Then it's a mess, and you're not living your life to the fullest or the way that you would like to. So you have to be financially independent, no matter how good your family, your husband, whatever is. You can't be living off your parents' money. You can't be living off your husband's money. You have to have your own money. That's one important thing. And the second thing is, sometimes now, when you're in the throes of a new relationship, you forget about, friends and family. That's a very dangerous thing, I feel. You must be connected to your community, because I don't think that, love should ask you to be isolated from your community.
But I think women do that all the time. Now,
yes, that's why I'm saying. You're saying
you're love bombing that person. Everything else ceases to exist, and we're like, oh my God, you are my purpose in life. Oh, that happens. But I'm just glad you're calling it out as is. Let's not this one. But thank you so much for entertaining us. Is there anything you want to add? Our 15 minutes are up, but anything?
No, I'm happy to, that people are connecting to Chitra. I'm happy to play a character like Chitra. I'm so glad that Nikhil has come up with this kind of a character that is so beautiful, so relatable, not always very typically strong, where her vulnerability is her strength. It's an unusual thing to show, and I'm very grateful to have this role.